Have you done any gardening today? I looked at my watch. Seriously, I'm like thinking to myself, it's 5 o'clock in the morning. What would I be doing in a garden? I'm not planting flowers or vegetables at 5 o'clock in the morning. This is News on a Tuesday. And today we've got just a few tidbits to discuss and share with you my travel story, which is a little funky, and just, kind of keep up with what is coming in. There are some things that are coming and where we're going to be here in the next few weeks as far as the show and content and all that kind of stuff, because it is newsworthy and I don't just want to take up a normal show with it. So we're going to do it this way. But before we get into anything really wild and crazy, I wanted to share with you my story my travel story. I hate flying because things always happen to me. Planes are delayed, flights get canceled. I end up having to, stay in an airport overnight. It's happened so many times. And I went to Pennsylvania, where I'm originally from. I flew from Dallas up to Baltimore, got an hour drive, from Baltimore to my family's home, my childhood home. Anyway, so the interesting thing was that day leaving, everything was pushed back. So pushed back, and it just took forever. But that wasn't the interesting part. It was the flight back, coming home. And this has never happened to me before, but apparently I'm a person of interest, or at least I was on that day, a few days ago. So I'm in the airport at 4:30 in the morning because I'm first flight out. I'm a 6 a.m. flight. I love traveling early because usually there aren't any delays, right? Unless there's something wrong with the plane or there's a weather delay, there is nothing else to put you behind. So I get to the airport, I'm trying to find the security area, to get checked in. I got my bag checked in. I'm rolling. Here we go. Let's go. And I've never had this happen before. I've never had this encounter where there's been a dog in an airport, a TSA dog. For those of you that don't know what TSA is, it's the Transportation Security Administration. It's the people that run the airports, make sure that there's not any crazy guy bringing a bomb on a plane, right? Or anything like that. So what ended up happening, I'm in line and nothing's happened. Nobody's moving. We're staying there like 15 minutes. I'm like, what is going on? I'm going to miss my flight. I got to get through security yet. So we get up and you go from a single file line to a double file line. And you're told to stand on this tape, on this tape, on this tape, and now walk down this black tape line, the duct tape line, right? I'm walking it. All right, cool. This guy's walking his dog back and forth behind everybody that is passing. So I go and I'm on to the next line, getting ready to show him my boarding pass, my ID. Like, all right, we're getting there. I'm not going to miss the flight. I promise I'm not going to miss the flight. Then another lady comes up to me and she's like, sir, I need you to come with me. I'm like, all right. Not enjoying this, but all right. They have me back in the duct tape line again. I got to walk the duct tape line again. So I get up there and the guy that's telling everybody to go, you're walking as a pair down these taped lines. And the guy goes, all right, go. I start walking and, I'm just walking like I'm normally walking. I walk very fast, by the way. Very, very, very fast. But I was just kind of, it's 4:30 in the morning. I'm tired anyway. So I'm walking, and then the guy that's walking with the dog, I walk past him, and there's another gentleman on my right, I'm walking. I'm looking at the line, and he's like, stop. You're not doing it right. And I was aghast. I was like I was speechless. One of the few times in my life I was speechless. I'm like, what do you mean? I don't know what you're talking about. So I didn't say anything, and he's like, go down there. Where? Down there with that lady. Okay, which lady? There's 3 ladies sitting down there. I don't know. None of them are really looking at me. Who? Right over there. Just walk down there. He was very not happy with me. I don't know what I did. I honestly don't know what I did. So I walked down there, and this lady from TSA, she takes me and whisks me away, and here comes a supervisor. And they're checking my boarding pass, and then they're checking my ID, running it through their little machine, making sure I'm not on some Interpol list, I'm assuming. And the funny thing is, after that, and he takes me off to the side, and, I only had a backpack. And the only reason I take my backpack, I don't even take a computer with me most times when I fly, just because I don't want that pain I got a hoodie in there. I got my headphones, wallet, keys, stuff like that. But I use it, I'm one of those people. I'll lay down in the airport and take a snooze if I got 2 hours before my flight. So backpack is pretty much empty. He's like, all right, sir, I need you to put your stuff up here on the conveyor. And they had people stand back from me. Like I had some kind of disease. Put my stuff up on the conveyor. And then he says to the lady running the conveyor, the x-ray machine, whatever her name is. I can't remember what her name is. He's a POI. Well, I know from my time in the military, I know what a POI is. A POI is a person of interest, right? Now my interest is peaked. It already was, but now it's reached a whole nother level where I'm like, what did I do? Do I look like a bad guy? Do I? Seriously? So they run my stuff through. I have to walk through the not the x-ray machine. I have to walk through the metal detector by myself and then back and again. So they made me walk through it twice. And I go through, the little thing that spins around you, make sure, I don't know what it does. I honestly don't know what it does. You got to hold your arms up and stuff. That scans. The guy, all right, sir. And then the supervisor dude, holding his clipboard. I was trying to read what was on the paper, by the way. I was very curious. So we get to the stuff where my things come out on the conveyor. And then there's another lady that comes over and she takes my backpack and, she opens up all the zip pockets. Because if you have like a computer backpack, you know what I'm talking about. There's all kinds of little pockets and stuff like that. So they open it and she's taking the swab to it. I'm like, what is she doing? Just out of curiosity, what is going on in here? So she's swabbing the entire thing, in, out, and then she puts it in this analyzer. And while that's going on, the supervisor is talking to me. He asked me these 4 questions. And I was like, all right, not a big deal. Do you have dogs? Yes, I have 8. Have you done any gardening today? I looked at my watch. Seriously, I'm like thinking to myself, it's 5 o'clock in the morning. What would I be doing in a garden? I'm not planting flowers or vegetables at 5 o'clock in the morning, especially not here in the airport. No, that was my response. No, of course not. Do you take nitroglycerin tablets? No. So immediately I'm thinking, oh, the dog marked on something. Then the last question is, have you gone to a gun or shooting range recently? No. Okay. So he's writing all this down and stuff. And then the lady that was analyzing my stuff, going through all that, she goes, sir, she was talking to the supervisor when she says it, sir. And she gave a thumbs up and he goes, he's good. And he turns to me and says, have a nice day. I was like, okay. I guess, yes, I will have a nice day now that I'm not a terrorist. I'm not trying to blow up a plane or a building or anything like that. It was so weird. So, I shared this story with friends and family and stuff like that. And, and the funny thing about it was that, like, I felt like I had really done something wrong. I was so confused. Like, is this because I didn't walk down the line the right speed? Is that what this was? And I'm assuming the dog marked on something, I was a hit on something. The dog smelled something. I have 8 dogs. And I came from my family home, my childhood home where my sister was and her husband and, their dog and their dog Mabel. And, I was around her, hugging on her and stuff like that. Of course, there's going to be pet residue, dander, smell, fur, all that kind of stuff on my backpack, on me. So I thought it was funny. And I was just like, all right, here's another reason why I don't like to fly. It's just another thing. So thank God, because that was an ordeal. It took a long time to get through that process. Like, I know I made it sound super duper quick and efficient. It wasn't. I waited about 10 minutes on the supervisor, and then, they're trying to make people stop so that I can go through and do my stuff single-handedly without anybody around, in case I'm going to go poof or something. It was about a 20 to 25-minute process. It was kind of intense to a certain degree, but kind of a pain in the butt. Hey, I appreciate the fact that they are keeping the airport and stuff like that safe, but holy moly, I think that dog is ready for retirement. Anyway, so now that I've shared that story with you, which I thought was absolutely fascinating because it was so silly in the weirdest way, let's get on to what actual news there is out there for you to learn and know and all that kind of stuff. If you have been living under a rock, Hopefully you don't live under a rock, unless you're like a snail, which I saw, or a slug, not a snail. Snails have shells. Anyway, unless you're living under a rock, you already kind of have an idea of what's going on. And if you are going to SDCC, which is San Diego Comic-Con, LEGO has announced that they are going to have a 14-foot tall version of the mighty Bowser. It's going to have moving parts, sound effects, all that kind of stuff. Incredible. 700,000 pieces. 700,000. The master builders, it took 3,290 hours. 3,290 hours to build that thing. Incredible. And the Bowser set comes out in October, by the way, in case you are curious, whatever. But if you are out there, you can definitely get an opportunity to see this. It's going to be over at the Nintendo booth. So if you are somebody that is going to San Diego Comic-Con, which I am unfortunately not able to do just because it is bad timing at this time of year, go check it out. It's going to be really, really neat. It looks incredible. The images of this thing are lovely. Absolutely lovely, to say the least. Way to make the most of your the Nintendo license there. So I really think it's really cool. The set even looks incredible. I cannot wait to get it. Not being a giant Mario fan, it is still something where I'm like, oh my God, I need this. I need this in the worst way. So yeah. So let's move on to the other thing that I wanted to share here. The Atari. The LEGO Atari 2600 is going to be coming out, believe it or not, very soon. August 1st, you can get your hands on one for a pretty okay price, I think, honestly. I don't think it's that bad. Dollars or euro, it's going to be $239.99. I really don't think it's that bad. I honestly thought it was going to be more than that. But here is what it entails, and I'll go through the little press release here in a moment. It's an 18-plus model. Obviously, this falls under the icons. The set number is 10306. It has a main console, all right? So it's about 3 inches high, 13 inches wide, and 8.5 inches deep. It has 2,532 pieces. Now, the really cool thing is it has the iconic game cartridges, the console. There's a 3D recreation of 2D games, which is awesome. A joystick, a surprise open mechanism, and of course, everything else that comes along with the nostalgia factor with this. So today, the LEGO Group revealed their new LEGO Atari 2600, a nostalgic recreation of one of the most famous video game consoles of all time. The iconic Atari VCS 2600 was an instant hit, when introduced in 1977, and the new LEGO set is based on the 4-switch revision, which debuted in 1980. The release of the new LEGO set comes in a celebration of Atari's 50th anniversary. Moving on here, the set also includes 3 video game cartridges of iconic Atari games in a brick format. Asteroids, yes. Adventure, yes. And Centipede, yes. The cartridges can be stored in a case and built into mini versions of the games. In addition, the console includes a switch to select whether you have a color or black and white television. I didn't have a color television for a long time as a kid, believe it or not. So when it came to choosing a designer for the set, of course, Chris McVeigh, who's a lifelong Atari fan, was chosen. And he had this to say: the Atari 2600 was one of the most memorable gifts I got as a kid. I recall spending hours and hours in front of the TV, absolutely amazed that I could play arcade games in my own home. There were so many legendary titles, too, including Asteroids, Adventure, and Centipede. This is why it has been such an incredible experience to bring 2 icons together, Atari and LEGO, in the awesome set. We hope that building this classic console takes you back to those halcyon days when a handful of pixels meant a world of adventure. Again, this thing is coming out on August 1st. It's a big deal. Get your hands on one. It's a very big deal. So that's what I have for news on a Tues today. As far as the state of the show, things are coming super duper fast. There are shows coming for the Speed Champion stuff. There are shows coming for the BMW motorcycle, for the Globe, for the Camaro, for the classic spacecraft, which is sitting here right in front of me. All of these shows are going to be coming out soon. There's even some more Chicago Brick World stuff that I've been saving because it just fits. So a lot of stuff that is coming, and there's also a lot of change that is going to be happening here in about the next 4 to 6 weeks. the big move to the final studio, the big deal studio, the big boy studio will be coming soon in a flash. I was over there today, and everything is just moving right along. So anyway, that's going to wrap up news on a Tues, and I will talk to you guys next time.